5.6 bill XP, 50,000 boss kills, maxed an alt in 300 hours. It's time to raise the stakes with a new challenge. An Ironman isn't enough. We need something more, something epic. We're bringing the Ultimate Ironman mode to RuneScape 3. That means no banking, with the eventual end goal of Questcape and the final boss title. The journey begins August 27th. Be there. So yeah, I'm doing an Ultimate Ironman, which is going to be a lot of fun, but because it isn't an official mode, there's going to be a lot of things that might not work perfectly, and we'll have to kind of make up the rules. One that comes immediately to mind is the fact that the loot from Telos is automatically sent to the bank whenever you claim. It's the only boss that doesn't have the option to take it into your inventory, so with Telos we'll have to get the items out of the bank as soon as we claim, but sometimes Telos streaks can get to like 20-25 stacks of items, but most of the time we're only probably going to have 2 or 3 inventory spots for loot. So basically what I'm going to do is I'll take out the 2 or 3 ones I want from all of the stacks, and then I'll have to drop all the other items, which could mean a lot of GP for someone who happens to follow around my account. So with that, long streaks at Telos probably aren't viable for this account, so we're probably going to end up doing claims for most of it instead of streaking. The second thing to think about is unnoting. With OSRS, you're able to unnote items by using the note on the bank, even as an Ultimate Ironman. So with that in mind, we could have the option of only using the bank to unnote items, but that feels cheaty to me because I want to limit how much I use the bank as possible, and there are other ways in the game to unnote items. The other way to unnote items is with the servants in your player-owned house. I like this a lot more as because there's skill requirements associated, and that makes for a really good early challenge of getting a good enough servant to make it viable to unnote items in a quick enough time to do things with our skills. However, I know there are some items like bones that can't be unnoted by the servants, so we'll have to think of alternate strategies for using those items as we won't be using the bank to unnote them, and that provides a greater challenge. The third thing to bring up is the ore and metal storage, or the material storage for archaeology. Both of these skills are oriented around having those supply resources in large quantities, which makes it incredibly tough, or downright impossible to train the skills without it. And while I was doing early game smithing on the account, it creates extra bars and puts those bars automatically into storage. And then when you pull things out of storage, you end up using those bars anyway. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't fully go without using the ore storage. And at the end of the day, it's not the bank, so I feel okay using it. And in the case of archaeology, once you get above items requiring 28 materials, it's impossible to make it. I don't want to be making Centurion remains all the way up to 120 archaeology, because that would probably take 3 to 4 years. So that's basically all the rules I've thought up so far. I'm sure we'll run into situations in the future that I haven't thought of, but I'm more likely to err on the side of not banking things in the bank, if at all possible. I hope you join me on the journey. It's going to be a fun one, and I'm excited to get this quest cape and the final boss title. It's going to be really good for me because I haven't experienced a lot of these things in a very long time, and I'll be experiencing things that I probably haven't trained before. Like, I think the best way to train cooking is with cheese from the player-owned farm perk, and it's like, why would I ever do that on my main account? But because I can't actually even bank raw fish, it's going to be the only way to train it. So subscribe if you're interested in this series. Leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts on the rules or any sort of other restrictions that might come into play later that we'll have to think about. But yeah, have a good one.